So thank you very much. We have our next guest joining us in studio. It's Inspector Steve McKenzie, Media Ambassador of the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service, also attached to the Northern Division. And we're here to discuss vehicular theft and larceny involving vehicle, robberies involving vehicle. So ASP, thank you. Welcome to the Now Morning Show. We are live on TTT, and this is your opportunity to speak to the people of Trinidad and Tobago on that very, very serious issue involving motor vehicle larceny and robbery involving motor vehicles. So welcome, and thank you for joining us.
Good morning, Mr. Gonzales, and good morning, Trinidad and Tobago. Thank you for being here this morning. Yes, our conversation this morning, we want to focus a bit on vehicles, in particular the larceny of motor vehicles and robberies where vehicles are taken away from the owners. And I would want to start with a getting person's mindset and understanding the trauma that one can undergo when a prized possession, something as valuable vehicle, is taken away from you. Imagine going to bed one night, parking and securing your vehicle, and you wake up the following morning to recognize that the vehicle that you've made such an investment in is gone. That could be something that is quite troubling to any logical, right-thinking person.
Of course.
So as an organization, we recognize that it's part of our responsibility, not just to recover these vehicles or to assist you in closure, but also to give you, tips, ideas of what is happening in relation to the larceny of vehicles, robberies involving vehicles, and how you can better protect yourself or guard against becoming a victim to such crimes.
Okay. So is there any data that you would like to share with us in terms of the prevalence of vehicular theft or robberies involving vehicles in the various divisions across Trinidad and Tobago?
Yes, we have some statistics that we like to share with the population, and we don't want to be too statistically driven, but at the same time,
it's important.
It's important, yes.
So I recognize that in the Northern Division and Central Division, the amount of larceny involving motor vehicles, the figures are very staggering compared to other divisions. And I want to ask specifically, why is it more prevalent in two divisions compared to other divisions in Trinidad and Tobago? Is there any specific reasons that you would want to share with us?
Well, we know that this illegal vehicle trade is what we consider to be organized crime, and it's organized crime networks. At times, it doesn't necessarily mean that because we're having a number of larceny vehicles in, let's say, the Sawa area, it means that most of the persons who are committing these acts actually come from the San Juan area. Because we have persons who travel to different parts of the country to engage in illegal activities, and we have had instances of this to actually prove the theory that I'm speaking about this morning. In relation to our statistics, in Northern Division, we have the highest number of incidents. So for larceny of motor vehicles in Northern Division, and this is the period, the 1st of January 2020 to the 31st of May 2022, not 2020, 2022, my apologies.
That's okay.
So for Northern Division, we have a total of 117 instances of larceny motor vehicle, and in terms of robberies, we had 51, bringing us to a total combined figure of 168. That's Northern. Then we have Central Division with 63 larceny of motor vehicles and 43 in terms of robberies. And then Port of Spain, I'm just giving you the top three.
Of course,
And then Port of Spain with 58 instances of larceny motor vehicles and 16 instances of robberies. Now, in terms of divisions that continue to have the highest numbers, we recognize as Northern, Central Division, Port of Spain Division, Northeastern Division, and Southern Division in that particular order, in terms of those with the highest reports to those with the lowest reports. And then we have places like Tobago with 0 reports thus far, which is good. So good going Tobago. Northern Division has a pilot project presently where we have split the division into two. So we have Northern North and we have Northern North Central. In the both divisions, we have 2 stations that are giving us some trouble in terms of those instances. It's St. Joseph in the North Central area and Arima in the Northern area. I must say that in the St. Joseph area, we had 19 reports of larceny motor vehicles, and in the Arima area, we had 16 reports of larceny motor vehicles. In Central Division, Canopia, we had 13 reports of larceny motor vehicles, and Chaguanas Police District, we had 11 reports of larceny motor vehicles. And then Port of Spain, we have 7 reports of larceny motor vehicles. This does not take away the fact that the police continue to engage in activities to bring resolve to these instances of larceny or instances of robbery. As a matter of fact, as recent as this morning, we expect someone to be going before the court in the Arima district for a vehicle that was stolen sometime on the 8th of June and was recovered in the San Juan Northeastern Division, and a person is expected to be charged for that particular offense this morning. Right. And as we're on that topic, I can even go into the type of offenses that one can be charged for. Yeah. So we're looking at offenses like larceny motor vehicle, so you can be charged for larceny of a motor vehicle. Right. You can be charged for possession of a stolen vehicle. Right. You can be charged for receiving probably a stolen vehicle or items from that stolen vehicle. Yes. We can even go so far as charging you for money laundering once we can prove the money laundering aspect of the vehicle was sold and that's right. If you were to benefit, that's right, from it. Now,
in my previous job, I headed the legal department at the Ministry of Works and Transport, and one of the last projects I started working on and made tremendous progress because we amended the Motor Vehicles and Road Traffic Act to lay the legislative framework for RFID tagging of motor vehicles and RFID tagging of number plates, etc. Because I recognize, being a previous law enforcement officer myself, that one cannot really tackle this scourge of vehicular larceny or robbery of vehicles without technology. Yes. And the police law enforcement must have the capacity to be able to track a vehicle wherever that vehicle is, especially if the vehicle is reported to be stolen. So my question, therefore, is that in the absence of the operationalization of that amendment to the Motor Vehicles and Road Traffic Act to introduce RFID tagging of motor vehicles, what other technology is the TTPS utilizing at this point in time to help it to track down a vehicle that is reported to have been stolen?
Well, I want to first go on the first part of your conversation, where you said in your previous job you would have been kind of leading the direction in terms of that tagging system. It's something we definitely would welcome in Trinidad and Tobago. I think that would help us in terms of being able to, decrease the amount of stolen vehicles as well as recover stolen vehicles. It will be a deterrent on its own. Of course.
Because what normally happens, and sorry again, what normally happens in other countries, you have these gantry signs or signals strategically located around a country, and those signs will be taking up, the data of an RFID tagged vehicle or a number plate of those vehicles, not to really breach the confidentiality or the personal security of people, but more or less to identify the location of a vehicle at any point in time once that vehicle passes that gantry. So if that vehicle is reported to be stolen, the TTPS, law enforcement officers, licensing officers, can now go to the database and identify where that vehicle, to track the movement of that vehicle within a particular period in time, and perhaps even identifying where that vehicle is. And the legislation also provides for huge fines for even tampering with the RFID tagged motor vehicle or number plate, as the case may be. And I am saying then that perhaps in tackling the scourge of vehicular larceny or robbery involving vehicle, we need to look seriously at advancing the government's policy with respect to RFID tagging of motor vehicles, because certainly it will make your job easier in tackling, or rather tagging and identifying where that particular vehicle is once it is reported to be stolen.
Well said, son. I know that you sit in a seat of influence. I trust that you would continue this initiative. Well done. Yes, it would definitely help the organization. The TTPS cannot do it alone, as you would have just said. Yes. We depend a lot on our customers. We depend a lot on the individuals. We need eyes, we need ears to be out there. And once a person becomes a victim of crime, in particular larceny of a motor vehicle, or even if you were robbed of your motor vehicle, we would want you to communicate firstly with the police via 999, 911, even for those persons who can't remember. Sometimes because of television, we think 911 rather than 999. So you can dial both numbers in Trinidad and Tobago now.
That is important. That's interesting.
you call the police officers, you tell them the information, where you parked your vehicle, when last you saw it, when you discovered it missing, the color of the vehicle, the make of the vehicle, as much information as you can. Because, and the reason I say that, if indeed you were to say a very common vehicle in Trinidad and Tobago is a white Tida. So let's say your white Tida was stolen. Officer is stealing a white Tida. It has black rims, it's tinted, and it's white. The vehicle number is X, Y, and Z. Now, that is almost like finding a needle in a haystack.
Of course, certainly.
So what we'll ask is if you can, I mean, sometimes we need to do things to make our vehicles a hard target. Find a unique identifier in your vehicle.
So it makes it easier. So the event that it is stolen, you can give the police that information so that they can
easily
do the investigation.
Identify the vehicle.
So time is moving along very quickly, especially when you're doing these types of interviews.
Too quickly.
But yes, too quickly. I would have liked to ask you what is happening in Tobago that they have 0 reports of larceny, as opposed to what is happening in Trinidad. But perhaps we'll leave that for another interview. But I'll take the final seconds of this interview to give you an opportunity to just do some closing remarks to the people of Trinidad and Tobago, just perhaps 10 seconds.
Oh, 10 seconds. Well, Trinidad and Tobago, let me speak to you directly by saying we encourage you to continue to be vigilant, be your neighbor's keeper. If you see something, say something. The Trinidad and Tobago Police Service continues to work along with you, and we continue to toil day and night above and beyond to ensure your safety. So thank you again, and be supportive of us and our initiatives.
Thank you very much, ESP Steve McKenzie. Well done, and continue doing the great work that you are doing.
Thank you very much, sir.
Great.
Be in touch.
I know.